Come in.
It's the brittle star version of plank.
Yeah. So many brittle stars.
I think this is the only place we've observed it, and we've seen a lot of it, actually. So I wonder what species this is compared to what we've seen on the shallower areas.
Could come in video.
It's been very prevalent.
Something purple underneath it. I'm just curious. Creating shade for some scum on the ground. All right, video. Pilot's clear.
We've had a pretty good showing on our chat room for a Sunday.
Definitely. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on your weekend.
Especially on our last dive. Seeing some more of this brittle material. A little flaky, clay-like material.
Snap-on urchin.
And there's a little baby urchin to the left. Ooh, that's a pretty one. They like these little crusty areas. This is the type of sediment we scooped earlier and collected one of the urchins and a brittle star.
Oh, and Bob Carney shared a fun fact with us.
Thanks, video.
The first book of deep photos published for the general public was called Face of the Deep by geologists Heezen and Hollister, and they termed the deep the kingdom of the echinoderm. It sure seems appropriate today. And when we get more shallow, we don't see as many.
Should be in the final moments
in general?
of its swing.
Yeah, if you want to get another one in.
Okay. Another 20 meters?
Sure. I do 30 if you want to judge by my sonar.
Okay, I'll do 30.
Although the continental shelf off of Charleston is littered with brittle stars.
Yeah, and I guess even the shallow coral mounds were littered with brittle stars for sure.
Just different
Range
species.
20 meters.
A lot of sea stars, a lot of
0
urchins.
degrees.
Got a second.
Speed decimal 2 knots.
Is that a piece of plastic?
Thank you, Rich.
It almost looks like a piece of coal.
Just didn't fit in is all. You can come out video.
Is there a little... Oh, yeah, there's one of the benthic holothurians on that.
You can come back in, I guess. Sorry, video.
A solid, right? PSOLID?
Yeah.
Times 2. Thanks, Scott.
All right. Next video. Spot.
So on our high-pack bathymetry map, it looks like we have a fairly long traverse over this type of more flat substrate for a bit before we hit our next rise. but we're hoping to end the dive by going up that next rise and seeing what it's made out of. So we'll probably boogie along here for a little bit.
Yeah, watch these. We're still underway westbound, and we'll do a quick pilot change here.
And Bob added to the story of the geologists with the book that was for the general public, and the folks who termed the deep as Kingdom of the Echinoderm, that they actually used a film camera and an Edgerton strobe to take the pictures. And that was similar to circuits that triggered fusion and fission bombs. So science is so intertwined. And Bob, is Heezen the one that the canyon in the northeast, the
How you doing, Lars?
Deepwater Canyon,
You good?
is named after?
Trying to make some tracks westbound.
Copy that.
We're doing a pilot change here.
What have you guys been holding as a delta? Around like 10 to 12?
Yeah. So many brittle stars here. All right, video, we got a second. Let's snap on this thing in the center here. This just doesn't look like anything else here. 5 out. What is that?
Yeah, you can come live video.
Scott, is the white thing that you're talking about the urchin test that's in that's kind of sideways that we were just looking at?
Bridge, this is nav.
Pilot, can we turn on the lasers, please?
Coming on.
Thanks.
Then maybe if we get to this depth, look for head to waypoint 6. Is that correct, or you guys just want to keep going? Okay, copy that. Did you copy that, pilot?
Keep us moving.
Yeah, we can go west. How steep is that incline coming up from your?
So we have about 125 meters, or pretty shallow.
Okay.
And then the
think it's like
incline
20.
is about 30 rise over 100, so it's not even that steep.
Okay.
Okay, gonna call the last move was 30 meters. Would you feel comfortable with another 30-meter move?
Definitely.
Yeah, you could do 50.
Okay, let's do 50 meters, bearing 270.
Go ahead, watch lead. Yeah, I copied you talking to Nav. Yeah, I listen to everybody all the time. And don't worry, I will make sure that I keep up with the ship. We're going to call in a 50-meter move, which means no matter how much zooming we do, I have to keep up with that, and we won't lose track. Yep. And we'll just keep those coming in.
Okay, pilot and co-pilot, 50 meters to 70 coming up.
And for folks on shore, we're
Copy
just
that.
setting things up with the pilots here
You
so
want me
that
to
we
rotate
can
over
basically
270
make
pilot?
pretty
I'm at
good time
260
over
now.
this flat area so that we can make sure to get to the next incline as quickly as possible, and maybe we can look around some before the end of the dive.
Pilot, did you copy my last?
We don't have
You
all
want me
that
to
much
come over to
more time left,
270?
probably
Sure.
close
I'm at
to about an
26.
hour.
That's close
So we
enough.
want to
Zero
try
now.
to get to
Whatever.
that next structure that's up ahead. And ground truth, what it is, what it looks like,
This
what
looks
kind of rock it
interesting.
is.
Let's just take a snap real quick, see what we got going on here.
Wonder if this is another jellyfish.
Yeah, looks like another jellyfish fall, maybe.
Yep.
Oh.
We saw one of these earlier, and we actually saw one yesterday as well, but we didn't see the urchins around it. Maybe it was newer, but somebody had pointed out that, I may think it was Scott, that there's actually a paper describing how important these jellyfish are to feeding organisms on the seafloor. So definitely something I've learned in the past couple days.
So these urchin are all going to feed on this.
Yep, that would
seem to be, yeah.
So do these urchin just wander around and happen upon it, or do they kind of smell it coming in the air and venture this way?
I don't know, but I suspect they can smell it because
Yeah.
I know I had some in an aquarium, and as soon as I opened the aquarium lid with a piece of shrimp in my hand, even before I put the shrimp in the water, they started moving. It was amazing.
Wow.
The brittle stars came out of nowhere. So I think urchins are very much adapted to being able to sense dead meat somewhere.
Cool.
Yeah, and Scott France gave us a link to an article about it.
Is that just a pure chemical response, or do they make a decision, do you think?
I doubt they make much of a decision. I think it's
Yeah.
more programmed
I
or
don't know.
innate or
Yeah.
something sensed.
Interesting.
Evolutionary.
Yeah.
Must survive.
Do
Cool.
urchins even have brains?
Not really.
No.
Some ganglia, probably, or maybe even not that. I'm not sure what their highest level of cognition is.
Yeah, definitely not a brain. But that doesn't mean they couldn't make decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
Decisions in a very loose term.
Yes.
They're not very witty, you're saying.
But they know when to eat.
They're not deciding what to cook for dinner tonight.
Whoa, and this sounds like these jellyfish carcasses can get consumed really quickly. This paper said that that Scott sent us said that baited camera deployments in Norwegian deep sea found that dense aggregations of deep sea scavengers, more than 1,000 animals at peak densities, can rapidly form at jellyfish baits and consume the entire jellyfish carcasses in 2.5 hours.
So we're lucky to have caught 2 of them today.
Wow. I don't know if I could eat a whole jellyfish in 2.5 hours. Probably could.
With 10 or 12 of your buddies, you could.
Maybe a little Old Bay or something.
Yeah.
You might have trouble trying to convince 10 or 12 of your buddies to eat that jellyfish with you, though.
There's a YouTube video of time series or, rapid sequence photography of a whale carcass being consumed off the California coast. And some of the crab species that came to dine are deep dwelling, and they think may have come from 100 kilometers or more.
Wow.
I don't know if that's been verified with the publication, but the time-lapse photography certainly showed the carcass being consumed over certainly more than 24 hours, but with very different groups of organisms appearing along the time.
Yeah. Would you like to see the other side real quick?
I don't know. I'm curious as to what it is.
Let me come around real fast, see if I can get it.
You have some time.
Yeah.
And again, a different species of brittle star hugging onto the harder substrate. They're not well adapted or suited for the muddy surface environment here, the sediments.
And Bob Carney said that most echinoderms have a nerve ring surrounding the foregut just behind the mouth. But still complex behavior is observed, like we just saw the mobbing of a dead jellyfish.
Swarm behavior.
Yeah, so these will be a localized bonanza.
That looks
but
like
short-lived.
a hollow nodule almost.
Yeah, it does.
Interesting. Oh, is there something? Oh, I thought that was a little fish, but it's just tentacles. Huh. That might be one of the things Jason was talking about, with concentric rings to it that he saw in the sediments.
I'm a good pilot.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Halfway through that one.
You're off to my starboard right now.
Yeah. All right, I'll keep a close eye on where I am.
Whoa.
I have you there at 50.
Great.
So if you weren't with us earlier on this dive, we started at a flat sediment plain like this at the base of a scarp, about 100-meter
Check out what that is.
vertical relief scarp. And at the base, as we approached it, we saw the sloped rubble field of the debris that had fallen down from the scarp through erosion, and started seeing lots of organisms attaching to those rocks. So began to see corals, octocorals, and some soft corals.
That looks a little bit too
And
close
did
to
we
you, isn't
see
it?
anything else
Your-
in terms of
Your
corals?
shadow?
We didn't see any.
line up
Oh, we
with
did
me
see that
before.
bamboo
I just got over
coral
here.
too.
coral,
Yeah.
and we also saw
But it looks like
cup
just
corals,
undulation.
desmophyllum
Here, and
cup
I don't have anything
corals.
on my sonar.
And lots of anemones and a lot of bracingid sea stars.
Come in
And
partial on this fish as we get closer.
then we
to see
climbed
what it
the
is
rubble
before I get
slope
there.
and thought we'd grab a
Tripod.
rock, and it just disintegrated in our claws, in the manipulator arm's claws.
oh, and our first tripod fish of the day.
Yeah, we haven't seen these since we've been in the deep water.
Before you go too tight, I'm still sneaking in, just so you know.
You want lasers off video?
And then after that, we
Yes,
began
please.
to climb
Come
what, in many instances, was a vertical wall, and appeared to be all this semi-consolidated muds that were stiff enough to maintain a vertical wall when segments of it had broken away, leaving very flat-faced edges and very sharp edges. Blocky pieces had fallen off.
Copy bridge.
And all along that, we found more brassingeds and
I should swing a little
some
bit
sponges
more,
of
but you might
varying
as well keep
colors.
going
We've
if I
seen
was
blues
comfortable.
and yellows and
Another 50
whites
meters, pilot.
in the sponge areas.
Maybe do 30 just in case that's a just decent cliff coming up. And
Yeah,
it's
what's
sooner
that
than we
distance?
think.
I mean, that's 80.
And then we
It's 80.
reached the top of that wall,
Yeah,
and we're
80
crossing
meters
the
away.
flats,
Okay, we got
heading
another- I
toward
guess we
what
got
we
another
hope we'll
50 minutes
reach,
then.
another scarp area set back from the first one. This would be the younger rocks, or the younger layers of mud resting on top
So
of the
section you want to
original
get a
one.
closer look at video?
Nope.
Okay.
It's our first tripod fish for the day.
We also have another, like, small.
We haven't seen that
black
many
object
fish
up
today
here, up
No.
compared to our shallower dives. Guess that would be expected, but
It's kind of nice being able to see from Sirius today.
Yeah.
we've seen cutthroat eels,
It's really more convenient.
a halosaur, two halosaurs.
Two halosaurs.
So 50 and let's say 20 for layback or something like that. A swing. That'll put you right here.
Copy that.
Great.
That should at least allow us to see the slope.
Trying to
of
think
the
if we've
radar
seen anything else.
sonar.
Yeah, I don't know how much slope you'll see, but yeah, for sure it won't risk anything.
So I don't know if this is the same tripod fish that we saw previously, which is Olopiformis
Can you get the lasers back on?
in the
Back on.
Hypnophidae family. But that was from a different location, and I think we saw one that was black and white instead of all black at one point too.
Curious what's out this way. See if I catch it on my sonar. Had a little return off to your starboard consistently the last little while. I don't know if it's noise. The tether's on your port side, so that doesn't make any sense. Might give a shove out there and see if there's anything there.
Sounds good. Do you want me to swing over, or?
No, that's all right. I'll be right back. I can't see it on my sonar. Once I get to the starboard side of your screen, then I'll give up on it.
Copy that.
With bottoms like this, it's hard to tell the difference between, you know, an undulation and an outcrop.
Another hygrosoma, another synaphobranchid eel.
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
I don't see anything on sonar. Come back around.
Yeah, this looks very much like the beginning of the dive, doesn't it? But we're 100 meters shallower. Doesn't have much effect on the biota, apparently, that difference in water depth.
Yeah, we're at 1,773 meters. And from just general biogeography of deep sea species, usually around 1,200 meters, there's a change out in species type.
Never mind.
So
It's gonna float
if you
nicely
go
for us.
between 1,700 and
We're gonna get
1,800
pirouette
meters, it's not
opportunity.
likely to make that much of a difference.
So with the pirouette, do you try and turn and then do like a lateral turn and a lateral turn, a lateral? Is that how you get that spin, or?
You try to do it kind of all at once. So you give the knob a little turn and give it a little lateral at the same time. My favorite trick is to, on a day with a little bit of current, to start down current, let the current push you, and just track with your head.
Gotcha.
Is that another jellyfish?
I think so.
Just hasn't. Look at the line of echinoderms.
The
They're
dinner bell has
marching
been
toward
rung.
it. So let's stay here for 24 hours.
Please.
Oh, not so. It was 2 hours of time lapse, 24 hours of actual time. Is that what happened?
I don't know. Is that what it said?
It said 2.5 hours.
Oh, 2.5
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Oh my
How much
gosh.
time do we have left on the
Okay,
bottom?
so we can stay.
How much time do
Come
we
in
have left on
partial.
the bottom?
About 40 minutes.
Copy that.
I translated 2.5 to 2.5. Wow, that's very fresh.
Okay, co-pilot, you have 15 meters to go on that move.
Copy that.
So this is the same type of jelly that we were seeing in
When
the
that
past
ends, I think,
few dives,
let
isn't
me
it?
swing out a little
The
bit.
lion's mane.
Lion's mane.
Let that settle a little. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Sure.
I'm looking at you at 7.5. You got plenty of time left.
Great.
Maybe not 2.5 hours, but definitely enough to get a look.
All right, I think we got some time here. Continuing on. What is that?
Sure. Video's going to be swapping out.
Okay. Is this another tripod fish? Or a holosaur? Or what is that? No, wait, its fins are sticking out to the sides.
That looks like a
Holosaur.
Yeah, that looks like a holosaur. It looks like it's kind of in between the two that we've seen before in color. We had a
they call it
really black one and a really white one,
lizardfish, is it?
Turn the lasers off.
Coming off.
if that is what it is.
Get a good view of the jaw.
Come in partial.
They're switching out.
Ish. She's on it.
I love that. Flattened out. Wow, great jaw view.
Bathysaurus is what Amanda Demopoulos has identified it as. Thank you, Amanda.
Come in a little tighter on the jaw portion.
So we saw one of these a few days ago, the Bathysaurus, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's at 54, so you still have
That's how my dog sleeps on the floor.
Probably to cool off, right?
Yeah.
That's Maxim.
Thanks. His eye looks really odd. It's like a murky brown color. It's cool.
Okay, co-pilot, I think that's the end of the move.
Copy that. Give me 4 or 5 minutes to swing out, and we'll let pilot push out and see if we can see the feature ahead of us.
Okay, it's time to move along.
With all those teeth,
Video
I
going
bet
wide?
nothing
Thank
gets
you,
away
Brad.
from
Thank
them
you,
if they get close enough.
I'll be there at 85 degrees, pilot. You're
Perfect.
off to my lower starboard side.
Scott's at the definition of a toothy grin.
Give it a little shove here.
Go ahead, watch lead. We have... We have 33 minutes.
It's like one of the anemones tucked in. One of the flycatcher varieties.
We have 35 minutes left in our last dive. Oh, we might have seen a holosaur on the right back there.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was right next to the fly trap.
Oh, okay, that's what that was.
Oh, on the
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Didn't even see it.
I mistook it for a Synapha eel that we've seen a lot of.
Oh, the vertically oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that was the halosaur.
I was looking at the anemone.
Do you want me to bring out your sonar, pilot? At 30 meters?
I think 30 is good.
Okay.
Not sure it's very useful past that in this sort of terrain. It's just sand.
And we're basically heading directly west, where there should
Do we
be
expect outcrops
another.
or just a steeper sand bottom?
A little bit steeper, not much. Yeah. I mean, Sirius is seeing something kind of like
Yeah, it's peaking up there.
45 degrees or something.
I believe I've stopped my swing.
Should be
Maybe like
some
a
other
20
kind
meter
of
move will get that a little bit
uplift here,
closer.
or
20 or 30.
incline compared to what
Yeah.
we've been seeing.
There's another congregation.
It's the same food source.
Looks
that
like
way.
it.
Yeah.
I wonder if those jellyfish is part of their usual life cycle, and at this time of the year, a lot of them die off.
Want to
Yeah,
snap
to see
zoom?
3 in one day is
Sure. Yeah.
surprising.
This might even be 4 today.
This is the third one I've seen, and you
Okay.
guys said
There was one
there was
earlier.
one before us.
Yeah,
so
down
that's
on the
4
other
today.
flat.
Oh, I might have missed it.
There's something off the back of the ship.
Kind of something.
I don't know. You can just see in the winch cam, you can see pointing. And lots of it.
Oh yeah. That's some animals back there.
Looks like it.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's people over there looking at them.
Interesting.
Alright, so if I call another 30 meters, it's gonna put
Video's
Sirius
happy?
right in between
Okay.
those two contour lines.
Copy that.
Having a bad main day.
Gonna
The lion's
670.
mane.
Yeah.
Would be interesting if we can see a jellyfish falling.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Nolan Barrett reminded me that we did see at least 10 of the Cyanea lion's mane jellies yesterday. We are quite a bit more shallow than this, but I'm sure that the Cyanea spend most of their time in the upper water column, or not benthic, so I thought that was somewhat unusual yesterday as well. Or maybe the mid-water, not really upper water column.
Watch lead, this is now. We passed another 100 meters of the track. 5, yeah, a little bit over 500 right now.
And we've gone 500 meters or a little bit more since we sat down on the seafloor. And we have about a half hour left.
Do you know what these worm tubes or whatever they are poking out of the sand are? Have you looked at these today?
No, I don't think we've noticed them, so.
Why don't we come in on this one close here? See if we can ID it. Oh, it's a coral.
Oh, that might be a sea pen.
Good eye, pilot.
Yes, tiny sea pen.
There's 3 of them here. There's one right here. There's a couple more up and to the right of it. When you zoom out, not at the current zoom. Sorry for not.
And that might be Distoctylum. And we did see this several dives ago, and we thought about collecting it, and then we didn't, and then we didn't see any more of them. And of course now we don't have any bio boxes left.
Well, let's take a couple more looks at the other ones, see if they
Do you have more
provide
zoom
any.
if I center it up?
Yeah, and
This is max
maybe
zoom.
get a nice zoom as much
get
as
a
you
little
can on the
closer.
polyps.
Okay, I'll pull out.
Thanks.
Yeah, and there were several.
Get it right between the skids here.
This one just off the right. Look at them in a row.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You have one directly
There's one in
below
the
you
foreground
right now,
too, so they're
They're all over the place.
almost what I'd call abundant.
Oops. Come on in.
Do you want me to attempt fog lights, or?
Let's get a couple seconds like this first. And then maybe video will want them.
Yeah, let's just do a little bit without them and then we'll turn them on.
Copy that video.
Is that max zoom? Or should
Yeah,
I
that's,
center it up?
that's
Okay.
max zoom.
Cool.
Yeah, let's try the fog lights.
Okay, fog lights coming on now.
Super bright.
Maybe not as much.
That's good for video.
Okay,
Thank you, pilots.
fog lights coming off.
Great.
So definitely a hit or miss. Did we get lasers on this, or
I don't think so. You can turn them on.
coming on?
Tilt up a smidge. There they are.
It's pretty small.
Yeah. Might be 2 centimeters tall, maybe. Okay.
Full wide.
Thank you. Just gonna scan these other ones with it, and then I'll tilt up and
Yeah, if
move
we can
on.
get any closer with a zoom. They're trying to look at tiny little.
Oh, that wasn't. That didn't do the job.
Oh well, I'm waiting to see if we need to look at another one.
Okay. Well,
I can come in on this one too.
Yeah, sure.
I think they're just small.
In the meantime, Tina's helping me out with the pronunciation. Disticoptilum. Distiloctilum.
This one I
Yeah,
did
that's better. Yeah.
a little bit further away from us, but it's more in the light pool, so that might help bring out the detail.
We want to try the fog lights at a different position, or did that flood it last time?
We'll definitely try both, I think, again. Just give us a couple
Scott is
seconds
looking
first.
to see if you can find a two-tooth-like structure just below the polyps, and if the polyps are arranged on opposite sides of the rachis.
Go ahead and try the fog lights.
Coming on with the fog lights. No?
That's better.
Sorry, I'm adjusting a little bit. I'm going to try to get that centered up for you.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Coming out.
Okay.
Thanks, Scott.
Fog lights coming off video? No?
Go ahead.
Okay, co-pilot.
Now we're
that's
starting
the
to see a
end
little
of
mounding
the
going on.
Copy that.
Somebody up here is burrowing.
Still not much on radar.
Yeah, I don't know how
Sonar.
steep this feature is going to be.
Yeah, I don't imagine it's going to be very steep. Get out here and have a look, see? Well, actually, we're just starting to enter the section that the Bathy says it gets a little steeper here.
Okay, great.
So we'll see. It's not going to be as steep as it was earlier, that's
No,
for sure.
I don't think so. The bathymetry doesn't look that way either. On
But
the big
it'll be-
scale, it looks like a level change, but on this scale,
So do you
may
want
not
another
show much.
30 meters maybe?
At least slightly uphill.
A couple of these rocks here are without, they're a different color than the one I was seeing earlier. You see how black it is? Have you been seeing these already today?
If it's like I was wondering if that was shadow. That isn't shadow, that is black, right?
That's very black, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we saw one of these earlier.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea where they're coming from. I think they kind of look like anthracite or coal, but maybe they're manganese nodules. That looks smoother, like a manganese nodule. The other one was very blocky and chunky.
We do still have rock boxes.
We
so
do.
That one's probably fairly tiny, though.
Yeah.
Looks like it has an isopod on it or something.
See if any of the other geologists on the line are interested.
There's another one not far away as well.
Yeah, let's just keep moving.
Okay.
Do you guys want to keep moving to west?
Yes.
Believe so. Oh, sorry.
Right,
Guess
west.
what?
We want to keep going west.
Oh, I thought you said yes. Yeah, west. Yes, west.
Right.
About 5 centimeters.
No, not right.
That's 5. This one's
Great.
more like 8 or something, maybe. It's a little bit different in color.
You also have another one further ahead. Looks like.
Come in,
Yeah, as
frame this
Tina
up.
mentions, there's always a possibility of
You want to just frame this real
drop
quick?
stones, but drop stones are
Good like that.
stones that have fallen out of icebergs that have moved southward and melted.
Got some pellets to the right.
Yeah, we still want to wait till the end, just with that small hope.
Yep.
another echinoderm outhouse.
Yes, is that what that was?
Coming back around to that one more time.
scan here and then get back on. Centered up in your view.
After that, I have you here at 45. Plenty of room.
Right. Another 10 centimeter one. Okay. Keep moving.
Okay, gonna call another 30 meters, 270.
Sounds
Copy
good.
that.
It's another jellyfish.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. This larger rock.
That one has eyes.
Yes, Jenna, I totally agree. It's awfully far from an ice margin to be modern drop stones, and they would be buried if they were from other episodes where icebergs migrated. And Jenna has been one of the authors on some papers that have shown icebergs made it all the way past South Carolina, Georgia, and even into Florida waters in the past when the Gulf Stream wasn't as strong and the Labrador Current was strong enough to transport icebergs down along the coast, and sea level was lower, so the base of those icebergs dug into the sediments, leaving a plow mark, iceberg scours. And on the last leg of this expedition, the first leg of this expedition, which was the mapping cruise that led to our dive sites.
Let's do a partial on here.
They mapped a zigzag plow mark trace in the sediments well offshore.
Mm-hmm.
So another iceberg feature.
Another hygrosoma. Pancake urchin.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his little booties on his feet.
Yeah.
And that a little mysid, I think.
And Jenna also comments that most of the debris is in the base of the iceberg, which would have likely melted out before getting to this site. It's curious where those individual rocks come from.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there are any seagulls in here picking it up and dropping them.
And Tina thinks she saw another sea pen to the right of this pancake urchin.
To the right? Oh, yes, there it is.
Little tiny
Oh
one.
my goodness, what a good eye, Tina. That is tiny.
It's actually like, is that only one polyp? It's a brand new one.
Yeah, maybe it's a very young sea pen.
Does it have 8 tentacles? No, that's a, is that an anemone? Or like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be an anemone.
That's Maxim.
Thanks.
Got a little sea pen next to it to the left.
It's so tiny.
Right here, that little thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. That could just be a stick in the sand.
Yep, so this does look like a tiny anemone.
clear whenever you are.
Video's clear.
Great.
And this dive today was requested by Jason Chater from the U.S. Geological Survey at Woods Hole. And we also have several other people from USGS joining on the call today. Amanda Demopoulos and Carolyn Ruppel and Jenna Hill, who we've been speaking with about the icebergs.
And you.
And myself,
and Cheryl Morrison.
And I think that every one of those people that I mentioned is at a different center, scattered across the East Coast at least.
Fish on
I
the
thought
left.
somebody was on the West
Yeah, I see
Coast.
it
Is
coming.
Jenna?
Jenna Hill, I think, is on the West
okay,
Coast. Yeah, that's right.
Copy bridge, move complete.
Jenna used to be in South Carolina.
Change direction.
You also have a different type of fish
And
coming
we
up
have
behind
Megan
you.
McCullough
You're
from
not gonna
the
be able to
North
turn around
Carolina
fast enough.
Museum of
Partial.
Natural Science.
Looks like one of
Bob
those
Carney
dogfish.
from Louisiana State University. And Scott France from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Tim Shank from Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute.
He's swimming off in the wrong direction. We'll let him go.
And we've also had, although not currently on the line, Chuck Messing from Nova Southeastern
It's worth it.
University.
If you look in the Sirius view, you have a
Chris
different
Ma
type of
has
fish
called in a
directly
couple
below me,
times.
pretty much.
He's
Yeah.
the Department of
behind you,
Invertebrate Zoology at the Smithsonian.
That might be the
It's been a
urchin.
big help to
He's talking about
to
you can
us
see it
for
swimming.
idea
Oh,
of the
okay, I see
echinoderms,
it.
particularly the sea
Looks like
stars.
it's swimming different from the fish that we have been seeing.
Yeah.
And
Looks like one of
Iris
those gat
Sampaio,
Sharks
the
or
University of the Azores.
dogfish.
And she's also in Germany at Senckenberg am Meer.
Co-pilot, I could try and go
Sorry
in a
if
little
I didn't
bit.
say that
Yeah,
very
if you
well.
don't mind, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just
I mean,
curious.
it's for
And
you decide.
Yeah, go
Mike
ahead.
Vecchione, he called in earlier.
It's
He's
actually
with the NOAA
Coming into your view now. To
Marine
your
Fisheries
starboard.
National
Yeah, I'm trying to
Systematics
come around to
Lab.
it. Just to catch
Rachel
it.
Bassett
come out
is
if you
with
want,
NOAA
will you?
NCOS, the Deep Coral Lab in Charleston.
Take a snap, see if we can ID it. Oh, he changed direction on us. Pushing out.
That is a different
Tara
fish, though,
Luke
right?
at Stockton University.
Trying to catch up.
Yeah, he's going away from you.
And Tina Molotova from Shirshov Institute of Oceanology in Moscow. Many of you have been on many of these calls, and we are so grateful.
Did I
We've
co-pilot?
learned so much, and we've enjoyed interacting with you.
Water shades aren't working.
Could kill the lasers.
Coming off.
Oh, and I didn't mention Zach Prue, who is my grad student at the College of Charleston today. He was at the Visualizations Lab.
This guy's quick.
I hope you had some visitors today, Zach.
Interesting nose. Come down to nature.
Thanks. About face.
I'm trying to find the name of this guy. I think that we've seen him.
Antamora is what
Antamora.
Andrea said.
Great.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
and Andrea Quattrini from Harvey Mudd College.
Oh,
I don't
sorry, I
think
thought
we
you said.
Beautiful eyes.
No, I don't think I did. She wasn't in my list over here. My list keeps changing of who's in the chat room here.
So I come up a little with them. Just make sure that
Yeah, I'm
keep the
keeping a delta of 12 or more.
Good job. Just want to make sure you realize I'm coming up.
Yep.
I don't want you to allow me to get too close.
Gotcha.
That's a great video. It's being very cooperative.
Yeah.
That's great. It's interesting to see the eye actually move. You don't usually see that on fish. Look at that.
All right. stabilize long enough to get a shot here. Keeps changing direction on me.
It's probably thinking the same thing about you.
His eye movements are cool.
Well, actually, this is now. I just want to let you know that we have 10 minutes left on this dive.
Let him swim out.
Copy that.
We're closing in on our last 10 minutes of our final dive for Windows to the Deep
All right.
2018.
Do you want to try and get one more move in?
17 dives.
Sure.
I mean,
We only
we
lost
can
a
do
few,
another
and
30 minute-
unfortunately
30
we hated
meters.
to lose
will
those.
that wrap up in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
The Gulf Stream got in our way a couple times.
But generally, we were so lucky with the weather.
Oh my gosh, yeah, really, the only turbulence was from the Gulf Stream. We've had almost no winds. I was commenting last night that the only time I ever felt the ship roll was when we were making turns during
Ooh, there's a big
multi-beam
rock.
sonar surveys. It has been so flat. It's just been like glass the last 2 days, too. It's just been beautiful. Saw some beautiful moon rises over the water.
Yeah, last night was an orange moon rising and then
lasers back on.
dolphin
Coming on.
alongside the ship.
They looked like ghosts because we didn't have any lights on them, but could hear them blow. It was beautiful.
This is a mighty fine rock.
This is a mighty fine rock. And Jason, I think we're going to run out of time. I
Yeah.
think we might want to just make a rock collection here.
That's
We have
pretty big
8
rock,
minutes,
isn't
so
I don't think we're going to make it to a rocky wall here, unfortunately.
There's is one a little
it a
bit
little too
uphill
big?
from this. It's a little bit more reasonably sized, I think.
Okay.
This one looks like it's about 50 centimeters wide, maybe, which is bigger than our rock box usually allows.
and unfortunately this one probably won't break in half when you squish it.
Yeah, of course. The way.
No, don't think it will. Well, we'll keep it in mind. There's one right here we can go take a look at, see if
Okay.
it's reasonable as well.
Just be great to
Got
get
one
that
behind it,
percentage
so
also.
it's a little bigger.
Not that it would necessarily survive,
You have one
but
further out?
you never know.
That's what I was going for, yeah.
Gotcha.
This one has fewer associates, but it's a lot more in the realm of the size we would normally grab. And it's bigger than the ones we've been looking at lately. It's, let's see, maybe 15 or 20 centimeters. But see if it's the right kind of...
Or one beyond that has some biota on it. Maybe those will hold on during the uplift of the vehicle.
Yeah, we'll put it in the lidded box. That'll help.
Yeah.
You're starting to stretch out a little, but I haven't moved, so.
You guys are moving?
Yes.
Okay.
I should catch up. You should
That's
have
good.
enough to get there, and I'll be coming over you guys
Okay.
as we come along.
Well, this would pretty much finish the dive off here. This is what you want to
Yep.
snag.
This would be great.
Okay.
We'll get a few more echinoderms. Well, it certainly does not represent the in situ material, but we've certainly seen a lot of these.
Yeah. And Jenna Hill is jumping up and down for a rock collection too. Maybe we can knock a few of those echinoderms off because we already have one sample.
Yeah, we don't need them all.
Well, actually, this enough. My notes don't say that we have any rock samples. Is that correct? Is that the same you have? Okay.
You can take a little zoom
Copy. Thank
on
you.
the rock before we collect. We can spin up hydraulics, please.
Yep, coming off. Hydraulics are spun up.
Great. Tilting down
Such
a little.
beautiful rock.